NFL Week 10 bets and predictions. I have the biggest play of the NFL season for you guys in this video. We're going to get to it in just 1 second. Now, before we start off with the analysis, with the free bets, with the money, let's talk a little bit about the trade deadline because there are some key movements that we need to factor in before this weekend. And number one, the Colts got stronger. They got Sauce Gardner from the Jets, one of the better cornerbacks in the entire league. And they're going to Germany to play the Falcons this Sunday. Along with that, two Dallas Cowboys got a defensive tackle that they needed. Quinnen Williams going to Dallas Cowboys. They enforced that defensive line, and that defense has been shaking the entire season. This gives him an opportunity deep in the playoffs. And the last one, Rashid Shaheed going to the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold getting more firepower, more long ball targets, and this team just got better. The Saints are pretty much waving the white flag and saying that the season is officially over for them. Now, offensive line, very similar situation, but we've got to talk about one key team that really plunged down this week because of some key injuries. And this team is playing a primetime game this weekend. And I'll cover it in just 1 second. Denver Broncos sitting number one, which they play today, this Thursday against the Raiders. 9.5 point line in Denver. Weird line. Buffalo Bills sitting second. Great win versus the Chiefs. Colts sitting third. Fourth, Eagles. Fifth, Kansas City Chiefs. Sixth, Rams. Now let's talk about the team that plunged down this weekend due to some key injuries. And we've talked about this team quite a bit in these analyses that I've done for you guys. Los Angeles Chargers. They lost Joe Alt officially for the entire season, and now they're ranked 30th when it comes to offensive line. And I keep on telling you guys that there's a big correlation between teams with the worst offensive lines and the teams with the worst records. Miami Dolphins, Saints, Raiders, Bengals, Jaguars, Falcons. At least the bottom tier ones like Cleveland Browns, the Dolphins, worst teams. Right now, the Chargers going down to 30th because of some key injuries. And now they're facing the Steelers this weekend, which came up with a big-time W against the Colts. Now going to LA to play this game. Now this weekend has a lot of games, a lot of opportunity, starting from 10 a.m. in Germany all the way to Monday Night Football. And as a matter of fact, Thursday Night Football, we're going to cover it in this video as well. Now, the season for me started fantastically. I believe we started something like 15-4. Now, we did catch a little bit of a cold streak. Being transparent with you guys, as I always am, the last 4-5 plays have gone down, including a 3-team teaser. Commanders plus 14, Dolphins plus 10, Texans money line, and Sunday Giants money line. Luckily, Saturday, we dominated the day 2-0, and college football has been heating up as NFL has gotten a little bit colder. But ultimately, this weekend, I'm very confident that we're going to bounce back, and it's a long-term game. We're still very profitable with NFL, but transparency is key. A lot of people hide results. I don't like to do that. Everything is transparent with me. My results are on my website, and that's how we like to play. Now, I have a special announcement for you guys before we get to the analysis and to the money for today. I'm opening up a free 4-day pass. It includes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday's plays. This pass is tied to the week pass. So after the 4-day pass, it will charge you for the week pass unless you cancel. I'm pre-emphasizing this so when you guys sign up, you make sure that you do what you need to do after the 4 days, right? If you guys do not want to keep the pass and just want the 4-day pass, do that. And sign up and cancel it right away. And I'm letting you guys know this, and ultimately that doesn't benefit me by any means because I do want the sale from you guys. But if you guys just want a 4-day free pass, go ahead and get it. And after that, if you guys want to continue on the week pass, that is up to you guys. 4-day free pass. It's going to be a big-time weekend. We're going to bounce back big time, and we're going to dominate the weekend. Now, a lot of telling lines. And before we get to game number one, I do want to cover a few of them because there's some key numbers that we always talk about. Number one, 2.5. From there, 6.5, 9.5, 13.5. Key numbers in football. That half a point away. 3, 2.5, 7, 6.5, 10, 9.5. Typically, games end up by those key numbers. Key numbers for this weekend, you got 9.5 Denver Broncos against Raiders, a divisional match, and a Thursday night game, which are typically kind of weird. Along with that, you got Falcons Colts 6.5, 6.5, and it stayed at 6.5. It hasn't pushed down, and money, I believe, is on the Colts, and we'll cover that when we cover this game. Along with that, too, this line to me stood out. Tampa Bay Buccaneers minus 2.5 against the Patriots. 2.5, why not 3? Lastly, Pittsburgh Steelers minus 3 with that O-line. Now, I don't like that game due to the O-line. I like to take teams with strong O-lines, but that line to me was pretty telling because it opened up at 4.5 and has gone down to 3. Last one, Green Bay Packers minus 2.5. This is the first time this season the Eagles are underdogs. They were underdogs 4 times last season. 4 times. And you want to know how many of those they won? 4. So this team has dominated when they're underdogs. They're going to Green Bay. A tough task for any team because playing in Lambeau Field is not easy by any means, and Green Bay is one of the better teams in the league. But we're going to cover this game because I have a very big angle for this matchup. Now, share the show if you got a couple buddies that like to sports bet, that like to learn, that like to know the ins and outs of how to really do this long term and profit doing this. Do your boy a favor. And remember, at the end of the video, same deal. I'm announcing who's going to win the jersey based on you picking winners. Whoever picked the first 3 winners is going to get a jersey of their choice. Same deal today. You got to just subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below your 3 picks for this weekend. The ones that win first will get the jersey, guys. So let's start with game number 1. Game number 1, Atlanta Falcons versus the Indianapolis Colts, and this game is being played in Germany. The Colts just got dominated by the Steelers. Daniel Jones looked like his old self back in the New York Giants, confused and full of turnovers. The Atlanta Falcons just lost a heartbreaker because of their kicker, and they've been going through it with their kickers. They had one of the better ones 2 seasons ago. He went to shit, and now this kicker lost them the game pretty much against the Patriots. Now, this game, again, it's in Germany. It's not in Indianapolis, and this line opened up at -6.5. We just covered telling lines, and this was a telling line. Why not -7? Colts sitting number 1 across the board in majority of the categories and with the best offensive line. Why are they not -7? This game is being played in Germany, and international games tend to get a little bit funky sometimes. Now let's cover this game and get into it. Majority of the books still have this line at -6.5, so there's been no major movement across the board. Money and support right now is going majority to the Indianapolis Colts. Majority of the bets, not the money. 71% of the bets on the spread, 89% of the bets on the money line. Now, -6.5, -340 for the money line, given they're going to be in a lot of parlays and a lot of teasers. Now, we're seeing a situation here where they're not attracting majority of the money, 54% of the bets, but not majority. If anything, it's pretty even when it comes to the money. Sharper guys right now are attracted to the Falcons. 46% of the bets, yet 29% of the handle. The public, the Joes, are on the Colts. The pros right now are on the Falcons. Now, again, I'm recording this Thursday, November 6th. This game starts in 3 days. There's going to be a lot of influx of money coming in during the weekend, and we want to pay attention to that closer to game time. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty. Let's look at strength of schedule, which matters. The Colts have had the easiest schedule in the entire league. 30th. There's 32 teams. They've added the 30th easiest so far this season. The Falcons, 11th. There's a big gap here when it comes to the strength of schedule, and when we look at the stats, we're going to factor that in, because if the Colts have faced an easier strength of schedule, their stats should favor them for the most part because they have faced easier opposition compared to the Falcons. Now, overall ranking, Colts 12th, Falcons 20th. Defensively, rather even. Falcons 17th, Colts 15th. When we look at the offense, Colts are sitting number 1. That offensive line, to me, Jonathan Taylor's the MVP right now. This kid is running like a beast. When we look at EPA per run, you see the big gap. -0.06 for the Falcons compared to 0.15 for the Colts. We want to factor in how the Falcons do against the run defensively. EPA per pass 0.01 compared to 0.19. If Daniel Jones plays like he's been playing the entire season, that number is going to stand. If he's shaky, like he looked last game, like he looked like the player he was in the New York Giants, then we're going to have a situation where the Falcons might be feasting a little bit in this game. Falcons are coming in with some questionable players that they're all questionable, some practiced. The only one that's pretty much officially out is Bergen, the guard. Doubtful. When we see doubtful in PFF for the most part, he is out. Colts are coming in with some questionables, especially Mr. Pittman, their best wide receiver, at least one of their best wide receivers. And we want to see him playing if you're going to back the Colts. Now, I do have a big surprise for you guys. I've been talking about this pretty much the entire season. It's finally live. We still got a lot of work to do to make it the best version of what it is, but we typically talk about key factors in NFL that I like to look at. What are those key factors? We look at yards per game, third down conversion, both offensively and defensively, red zone scoring percentage, both offensively and defensively, and turnover margin. We go through team rankings to look at that. Now we've created our own website to look at these stats. Falcons versus the Colts. Total points right now, Colts sitting first with 32.0 per game compared to 28 for Atlanta. Now remember, strength of schedule matters in this situation. Third down conversion offensively, the Colts are ahead. Ranked 5th, 44.8% compared to 35.5 for the Falcons, ranked 23rd when it comes to third down conversions offensively. Now opponent third down conversion percentage, which is the defensive end of things, this is an area where the Colts lead, but not by much, 40% compared to 40.2. Defensively, Atlanta Falcons can't keep up. Now, offensively, you see the gap. Red zone scoring percentage, 5th compared to 23rd. They're averaging 78.2% of the time when they get to the red zone scoring a touchdown, compared to the Falcons at 69. Meaning, 7 out of 10 times, the Falcons are scoring a touchdown. For the most part, 8 out of 10 times, the Colts are scoring a touchdown. Now, when we see the opposition's red zone efficiency percentage, again, the Colts lead defensively. They are allowing less touchdowns. But let's factor in the strength of schedule. 30th versus 11th. 30th versus 11th. Turnover ratio, an area where the Falcons lead. To me, the Falcons are an undervalued team. They've gotten beat this season by bad beats, and they're better than the record shows, in my opinion. You're catching the team at 6.5. You can get them at 7, 7.5 by the hook and get them by a touchdown, and I love this spot to take game number 1 of Sunday to pick up an early W and set ourselves up nicely for the remainder of Sunday night. Head-to-head doesn't really matter. Last time they played was 2023. The teams have changed, the coaches has changed, and ultimately this is a new matchup for this game. So I like the Falcons here. Get it at 7.5, 7, whatever your book allows you to get it. And this is play number 1 for this weekend. Remember, we got the NFL play of the season in this video this weekend, and it's the most exciting one. It's going to be the most profitable one, and you're going to get it in this video. Now, in this part of the video, I'm going to cover 2 games, and one I'm going to cover really briefly because Lamar Jackson just came back. So the offensive side of the Ravens' stats are going to change quite a bit over the next few weeks because prior to this week, or the last week when they played the Dolphins, they were without their key offensive piece. And they also have had a longer rest coming into this game because they played last Thursday. They're going to Minnesota. Minnesota just dominated Detroit in Detroit. Detroit was a 9.5 point favorite. 9.5 key numbers that we like to talk about. Detroit lost outright at home against Minnesota, and Minnesota looked really good. Minnesota at home, for the most part, you don't catch him as an underdog, and you don't catch him as a minus 4.5 point underdog to make the point even better. 3.5, the line opened up in favor of the Ravens, and it's pushed up to 4.5 in majority of the books, for the most part, right? Money and support right now is going to the Ravens. On the money line, 74% of the bets, 83% of the handle. On the spread, 65% of the bets and 90% of the handle. Majority of the money on the spread is on Baltimore. And if you guys know me, I'm a bit of a contrarian, and I like to fade the public for the most part. But to me, this is a situation where I do like the Ravens. And again, Lamar Jackson is coming back. When we look at the stats, they're going to be a little bit skewed towards the Vikings, but we got to factor in the key piece, Lamar Jackson coming back into this game. Strength of schedule, they've had it a little bit tougher as well. Defensively, Baltimore has been a little bit of a liability this entire season, ranked 26th compared to 14th. Now the offense is going to shine versus this Vikings team because Lamar Jackson is back. They got the dual threat with Henry. He can run it, and along with that too, he's been throwing it pretty well. At least he did versus the Dolphins. I love this spot for the Ravens. Now 4.5 to me is a little bit too rich for me, too much for me in this point, and I like him at the money line. Minus 225 is a little bit too much as well, so I like him in a teaser in the spot. Or you money line him with another parlay, with another team, and this is a good spot to take the Ravens. Now, my favorite play of the day, no, but I do like him in this spot for this weekend. Now, second game that I'm going to cover in this part is the Cardinals versus the Seahawks, and it's more regarding the telling line. So this line opened up at 6.5. Cardinals just beat the Cowboys. Brissett is their new quarterback. Murray basically got benched. Who would have thought that was going to happen this season? Nobody had that in their cards. Now, again, 6.5, a key number to pay attention to. Money and support for the most part is on the Seahawks. Everybody loves the Seahawks. 73% of the bets, 78% of the handle. On the money line, 92% of the bets and 83% of the handle. Colts, Seahawks are going to be in a bunch of teasers and a bunch of parlays, money line, because they're at home, at least the Seahawks are, and they've been playing lights out. Especially the Seahawks, Sam Darnold. Let's call it what it is, man. This kid has been a beast this season, and the Vikings probably regret trading him in this spot because he is balling. They should have paid the kid. Strength of schedule, Cardinals 31st. Out of 32 teams, they've had it easy. Seahawks 20th. Not the toughest, but a lot tougher than the Cardinals. Offensively, rather tied. 15th compared to 13th. Defensively, Seahawks lead, and at home, they lead even more because they're a better team at home. EPA per run, Cardinals lead. Minus 0.14 compared to minus 0.17. But on the EPA per pass category, Sam Darnold is shining team. And Sam Darnold with Smith have been a duo that has been unstoppable, to say the least. Now, when we go to the key factors that matter, we know offensively the Seahawks are going to lead, right? Total points, ranked 7th compared to 27th for the Arizona Cardinals, averaging 28 points compared to 22 for the Cardinals, and the Seahawks have also had a tougher schedule. Third down conversion, an area, believe it or not, where the Cardinals lead. 6th compared to 22nd for the Seahawks, and it's due to the running game that the Seahawks don't really have too much, right? Opposition third down conversion, An area where the Seahawks lead, rather even, 40 compared to 39.3%. Red zone efficiency percentage, Seahawks dominate. Fourth in the league, and they've been dominant in the red zone with Smith, with Sam Darnold, running out the pocket and getting it done. Opponent red zone efficiency percentage, an area where the Seahawks lead, and turnover ratio, an area where the Cardinals lead, 6.5. Another area where the Falcons, 6.5. We bought it to 7.5. I like the same spot for the Cardinals. They got a little bit of momentum. And when we look at the last 3 games, let's talk about the last 3 games because they are 1-2 over the last 3 games. But who had they faced? The last 2, Colts at Indianapolis, and they kept it close, 31-27. They were an 8-point underdog. They covered that. Green Bay, 27-23, kept it close, 6.5-point underdog, and covered that. And then they went to the Cowboys home and beat them by 10 points. And it was a pretty much a dominant game altogether. They've kept it close. I believe they keep it close here. And I love this spot for this team. Now, questionable players that we need to pay attention to. Crawford, their safety. If he's not playing, this is going to be a situation where I might back out of this play. He is a key piece, and Johnson is as well. For the Seahawks, they got some key players that are questionable as well. Young, Barner, Kupp. Cooper Kupp, not the same player that he used to be, but nonetheless, an engine in this team. Right now, as of right now, I love this spot. If Mr. Crawford plays, I love it even more. Get it at 7.5, and this is one of the better plays for this weekend. Now, the last thing that we're going to cover here is head-to-head. Let's see if there's anything that stands out head-to-head. Maybe the Seahawks are dominant in this matchup, and they are. 9-1 over the last 10 games. Last time they played, 2025, Seahawks kept it close. 23-20, Sam Darnold wasn't playing with the team. A lot of changes have happened for both these teams. Dominant for the Seahawks, something to factor in, but I still like this Cardinals team to keep it close within a touchdown. Let's talk about the best game of the entire weekend, which is Philadelphia Eagles going to Green Bay to face the Packers. And this line opened up at -2.5 in favor of the Packers, and is still sitting at -2.5. And this is the first time the Eagles are underdogs this season. Now, I spoke about this in the beginning of the video. They were underdogs 4 times. Last season, they won each of those 4 times. Now, this is a different beast going to Lambeau to face the Packers. And Vegas is making this line at -2.5 for a reason. And it's still at -2.5. Money and support, let's talk about it. Right now, majority of the money is going to the Eagles. Spread, 75% of the bets, 63% of the handle on the money line. 82% of the bets and 92% of the handle. Everybody loves the Eagles as plus 115 underdogs. You're putting 100 to win 115, 1,000 to win 1,150. Who doesn't love that for the Eagles? The best team, if not top 5 teams in the entire league. Now let's talk about the stats, and let's talk about why Vegas is making this line at -2.5. And if you're a sports bettor or you're an investor, you align where the money is going, and you play with the house. You play with Vegas. That's what you want to do. They're the billion-dollar industry, man. We're trying to get to their level. So we play with them. If majority of the money is going to Eagles, especially attracting 82 and 92% of the bets, that is a liability for Vegas, especially on a Monday Night Football game. And something to factor in coming into this game. Remember, the Eagles are a heavy favorite to the public in this spot. Now, strength of schedule. Who leads? Eagles, 12th to 25th. EPA per run, Eagles lead. EPA per pass, Packers lead, 0.26 compared to 0.14. Overall, Packers are ahead. Defensively, rather even offensively, ranked 4th compared to 6th. Right now, in the injury report, there are some key injuries to factor in. We're going to pay attention to it closer to game time. Now, we are going to go and get right into the stats. Home and away, because Lambeau is a home court advantage, one of the biggest ones in the NFL. Right, yards per game, Green Bay at home lead. Third down conversion, they lead 45.65 compared to 30% for the Eagles. Red zone scoring, an area where the Eagles lead 77% compared to 55%. Both of these rather big gaps. When we look at the defensive side of things, third down conversions, Green Bay also leads here, but on the red zone scoring percentage, Philadelphia also leads them by a big gap. Very big gap. 38.46% compared to 60%. Turnover margin, the Eagles lead. Remember, let's factor in strength of schedule. And along with that, too, let's factor in the season in the spot. Because we also know here that the season matters because of the strength of schedule. And defensively, Green Bay leads for the most part. Opposition yards per rush, which is a key game for the Eagles, they are playing all around better. Now, this is probably going to be the best run game they face the entire season, or at least one of them, right? Along with that, too, when we look at the stats that matter, pretty much the same for the most part as home and away when it comes to who has the edge. Now, who do I like in this game? I do like the Packers in the spot. I like him on the money line. I like them tease with a couple games, especially with the Ravens game. That's a great angle to be able to tease with the spot. But I do like the Packers, and this is one of my favorite games of the entire slate this weekend. Now, let's get to the money. I'm going to give you guys some picks, some teasers, and along with that, to announce who won the jersey giveaway. Remember, all you got to do is message me. And also remember the fact that to get my play this weekend, all you got to do is sign up to the free pass below, man. you're going to get it because you're getting a 4-day free pass. And my game is this weekend. So get the free pass and you're going to get the play of the NFL season completely for free, man. So let's pick the jersey winner giveaway. Now, as I mentioned, 4-day free pass. I left the link below. 0 cost. And you get 4 days completely for free. Now, I do have some sad news for you guys. And it's the following. Nobody won. Everybody had the Lions. Everybody had the Lions, or they had Kansas City at some point, but all of you guys had the Lions, and Lions lost, so nobody won. So this week, we're going to make it a little bit juicier. It's going to be a jersey, and along with that, too, a $100 giveaway. So the winner's going to win $100 plus a jersey. Now, I did see a comment here that I didn't mention the Dolphins plus 10. Remember, team, I record this Thursday during the day. You see the day outside. Thursday last week was the Dolphins game. So when you guys saw this, the game had already happened. So remember that. At the end of the day, I showed you guys the results in the beginning of the video. Not hiding anything, man. This is part of the process, and we're going to bounce back this week. And everybody that's commenting something negative is going to start commenting something positive. At least I hope so. Let's go for the win, guys. Let's make it a big weekend. Share the show with a couple buddies that like to sports bet. And next week, hopefully, we have a winner to pick to give $100 to and a jersey, guys. So let's win the weekend. Enjoy the weekend. And I'll catch you guys next week.